Hello, Orange Nation. Welcome back to yet another episode of Orange Juice news and notes from around the world of Insoles. I'm your co-host today, Owen. If you've listened before, you know me. And then also we have Marsha as our other co-host. Marsha, what's going on?
Well, I'm just recovering from 4th of July weekend, Owen. How about you?
Okay. No recovery necessary here. We had a beautiful 4th of July celebrating our nation's birthday in what it's become today. But no, it was awesome. We're a pool family, so we go up to the pool, and it's so funny because we have these pictures and videos of our 5-month-old Holden literally just like chilling in his floaty, the sun hat on, laughing to himself, just can't be bothered. So, um, we talk about this is a seasonal podcast because we're in Michigan, but we're soaking in the summer months. It's good.
So, if I remember right, I think you grew up with the pool, right, Owen? Didn't you have one since birth?
Well, I think you should know that, but considering it was your pool too. But
I know,
yeah,
but I
we
love
pretty
it.
much always
His
grew
son
up
is
with the
doing it.
pool, and
Yeah.
it just so happens that we have a perfect backyard as well to, if we ever wanted to, or
Oh,
more so
put it
could
in.
afford it, we could maybe throw in a pool. So
Well, it's better we can go to someone else's, so it sounds like you're on the right plan.
yeah,
But I will say, this weekend I actually saw history being made, which was a miracle in itself. So I get hyped up. I love to go to big sporting events when they do the flyover with the military. I just get so hyped about that. I can't even tell you. You can ask Mallory, our producer, because she was with me, how excited I was to see that. And then the other thing, so we went on a 4th of July day, and then they open up the flag and the singing and the national anthem was
you're at the
just,
Cubs game, right?
yeah. So that's what I was going to say. The reason I saw history is I was at the Chicago Cubs game, and they just made club history and hit the most home runs in a game. So I saw 8 home runs go out of that park. And you never left your seat because you're like, you started getting the vibe when in the first, like it was inning 3, and I think they had already hit 4, and you're like, wait, what is going on right now? This one guy was hot. He hit 3 of them, and he was their outfielder, and I know you know his name. I'm sorry, I'm blank on it. He'll
Pete
definitely be
Crow
in the All-Star
Armstrong.
game. Yeah. First of all, I started the game with him catching the most athletic catch I've ever seen in person. So I just screamed for that, and then to see him hit, yeah, it was just a great game. So it was fun. I love athletics, and I love when records are beat. So they had 8 home runs. A lot of history there. It was so much fun. And I will say the city of Chicago, you know how to rock it with your fans, and no one left their seats, and they just were amazing. So that was a lot of fun, even though I'm a Tigers fan. I'm second is Cubs, second right behind Tigers. And we'll see them in the World Series, so I'm pretty excited about it. I called it
Okay,
here. I called it here.
good
We'll all
deal.
be going, all of us, so it'll be fun. But anyway, so it was a really nice 4th of July, something different. I normally don't leave town. I do what Owen said, either the lake or a pool. So it was a lot of fun to spend a few days in Chicago. Thus, I'm repping the hat for Chicago today.
Speaking of baseball, if you are active on X or TikTok or even Instagram, we have a new partner that you would definitely want to check out. His name is Chris Castellani. He's considered a Tigers super fan, Detroit Tigers super fan, but also very well rounded in his coverage of Michigan sports as a whole. And then the MLB also is kind of his tune, if you will. So we have just launched a partnership with Chris, including an absolutely hilarious video that you want to check out. And we do have a special discount code. It's Chris10 for 10% off of your purchase on our website. So you can thank Chris, toss him a follow, a like, and whatnot, and get a little discount too.
I love it. I bet Chris, I'm curious what flip-flops Chris has, because I think that's what we're going to talk about today is the world of flip-flops. And this is definitely the time of year. I wish I had them on at the ballpark, but instead I wore tennis shoes because I had to because of my knee injury. I have to be supportive right now. But what do you think about flip-flops, Owen?
Yeah, so I mean, especially being, the orange insoles guy, I don't want to bash on flip-flops, but you just have to be careful. I will say that I wear flip-flops almost all the time. And it's funny because as we were preparing for this podcast and just making sure we have all the correct information. I'm like, man, I need to take all of this advice because my flip flops are beat up, and it really can impact you negatively. It and it's just over time, it really can add up. So we'll get more into that, but when you think of your average flip flop, spoiler alert, there are some that actually are pretty supportive that you can get, but when you think of your average flip flop, the reason why they are so unsupportive is because they are literally uh, absolutely just flat. There is no contour of the arch. And we've talked about in the past how even with shoes, they don't focus much on the insole or supporting your arch, but they at least have a little bit of a contour and something to support. And most flip flops that I've seen are literally just straight flat. So it's like walking on the bare ground, or sometimes even worse, you're on this like super soft foam, having to maintain your balance, and ultimately it's making your foot work a lot harder than it has to. Furthermore, since they're flat, they don't have our signature feature that we like, but also that is just a nice, well-rounded thing for your foot, which is the deep heel cup. So with the flat flip flops, you're not going to get any sort of heel support. Where if you do have something that has more of a heel cup, it really just helps anchor your foot into place. And then I know that there's some other stuff too, Marsha, that just to be aware of when you're looking at flip flops or you think of flip flops in general.
So, if I hear you correctly, with current flip flops, and this isn't all of them, there's like some really good supportive flip flops out there, but in general, most of them are like this flat EVA foam. It's like almost like an insole, like liner when you take out of a shoe. It's just kind of flapping around. There's no support, and it has like one strap to kind of lock in your big toe between those two toes. So there's no arch support, like Owen's saying. There's no heel cup. There's no deep heel cup for alignment. Very thin profile soles. I mean, to the point where I've seen people step on things and have it go through their sole to get hurt, which is very disappointing. And then it's a loose fit because your foot's sliding all over. It's only anchoring around the front of the toe for most flip flops. However, we all have them. We all have them for a reason, and there's definitely consequences when you're wearing poor shoes like that. But then there's a lot of reasons where these kind of quick EVA thin profile type flip flops can come in handy. But we'll talk about that here shortly. But so you were kind of getting into it. So moving your foot all over the place, no deep heel cup, no metatarsal pad. What are some of the consequences that people can get out of wearing poorly supported flip flops?
Yeah, well, one thing I was gonna say is, I mean, why would you gravitate towards like these types of flip flops? I mean, really, they're super inexpensive. You can go to like Old Navy or the dollar store and literally find a pair for like $2. So it may be the cheapest option, but what you may have to ask yourself is, in the end, is it worth it, or do you want to invest a little bit in your feet and your experience just to make it more positive? So with that said, given that they're less expensive, the manufacturers really are just focusing on what's the easiest way to put everything together and get it to stay secure and in place and whatnot. They aren't considering how it actually fits your foot, like Marsha was saying, where there's just kind of like the one strap in between your middle toe. It could be very thin. I've seen the word that I know this isn't right, but like spaghetti straps come to mind, like these little spaghetti strap sandals where there's like two straps on them, and that's all they're made up of. So that's important to keep in mind that when you're paying for something that's less expensive, it's also going to be manufactured in a less expensive way, generally speaking. And those are a few of the things that they do. On top of that, they're not always using the most premium materials either. So when you're wearing those flat flip flops that don't have support and maybe aren't going to fit you very well, it can lead to a variety of things. One of the most common things that we talk about all the time is overpronation, or simply when your arch can't or doesn't support your foot. So you start to roll in on your arch and your foot bottoms out this kind of unnatural motion, or I guess I'll say non-efficient motion, added up over hundreds and thousands of steps, can really affect both your feet, whether it's just basic like heel pain or plantar fasciitis, but also the greater lower extremities. So you could also start experiencing maybe shin splints because of bad flip flops, lower back pain, even hip pain, knee pain, you name it, just go up the chain. And if your body's out of alignment, which again in this case could stem from unsupported flip flops, you could very easily have problems if you're spending any period of time in those flip flops.
So I think one thing though is that we're talking about how you can get these cheap flip flops, and so part of it though is like, so why do we do it? Why do we buy these for the price? But I will say I've been to a few weddings that late at night they have complimentary flip flops that are these cheap ones, but they're cute and they're awesome for us girls who have to wear our high heels, and we wear our orange light high heel in our high heel, and it only gets us to midnight because we're dancing too much. I love it when you can grab that free pair and just flip out into those in the moment, just to give your foot a break from whatever shoe you might have been wearing. And then the other thing with the cheap ones is that who cares if you lose them? Like a lot of times people will take them when you're going boating for the day, going to the beach, going to the pool. If you lose them, or even more importantly, they get wet, who cares? I hate bringing my nice leather, cute, strappy shoe on a boat or at the pool and somebody splashes or spills their drink on it or whatever. So I feel like there's like these more economical or flat EVA type base insoles. There is a place for it. I own a couple pairs, and like I mentioned, I really have them more in my beach bag for the pool or whatever when I don't want to wear a higher end Birkenstock or a higher end type leather sandal. But it's summertime, it's hot. Like we don't want to always be wrapping our feet in shoes depending on the time. So I just wanted to bring that up for why are there reasons we even wear them?
Yeah, I mean, even just like walking to the mailbox, or let's say you're getting in your car and driving to a restaurant for dinner and walking inside and then walking back to your car and driving home. Those are not the cases that you're going to regret wearing flip-flops. It's more of those like all-day events or things where you're having to stand, or maybe you're going to the beach and you bring cheap flip-flops, but you didn't realize that you're going to walk from the beach to into town and get lunch and then back, or do shopping and then go over to this trail and do that. And then all of a sudden, you're taking thousands of steps, and, your feet will tell you.
The other one too is like when you think you're going to take your dog out for a quick walk and you're like flip-flops are by the door, it's a hot day, and where we are, it's been in the 90s nonstop. It's like, I am not tying up a tennis shoe to go run this dog out. However, if you end up going long distances with the dog, you're going to kind of regret it a little later, especially if you're doing a fast-paced walk with the dog.
That was literally me this morning.
Well, yeah. I mean, literally, it's fine to do that, but you just got to think about how far you're going. If you're going lots of steps with the dog or a mile or more, you're probably going to want some more support under your foot. But it absolutely makes sense. But speaking of that, though, if you love flip-flops, there are some good ones that if you want to spend a little more money, that are going to get some good support underneath you. And, let's talk about that real quick. If I decide, yes, I want flip-flops, which we all do, there's a couple brands that we highly recommend. But if you can't remember these brands, there's a simple way to know how to look for a good flip-flop. So you pick up the flip-flop and you flip it over. And if it has a wide base underneath, that's going to be a better support for you. And then the other thing is that if you flip it back over to the front part, under the arch, if there's a good contour there, that's a good insole too. That it's worth spending that little bit more. But those are two quick tests to do to decide if this is a good supportive insole to go to. But then there are a lot of good brands that we know, and we'll discuss here in a second, that from our shoe store that we sell and have a lot of history with, that absolutely makes sense. But like I said, you're going to want to try to find a good built-in arch support there on contrast. And then if you can, a third thing would be like a heel cup, a deep heel cup. And one we find that carries that, but it's not waterproof, is a Birkenstock type sandal. And those are super popular right now. Their cork ones are not waterproof, but then they have these harder, like plastic EVA foam ones that have the same contouring that are waterproof. And that's what I actually live in by the pool. They're awesome. They're not very expensive. And they give you the summertime, the support, the deep heel cup, the arch support, and a good way to anchor in all your toes, not just the front 2 toes. So I'll pause there and see if Owen wants to add anything in on, what is a good flip-flop or what you need to look for.
Yeah, I think one other simple test you could do is just trying to essentially like bend the flip flop, and if you're able to just take it and like almost fold it in half. I mean, obviously you don't want to snap it in half in the store, but if you just like give it kind of a test and it's really bending, that's usually a sign that it's not very supportive. Where if you are doing that same test and it's a little bit more firmer and structured, it's just a sign that it's going to hold up as you're walking and your foot's in it all day.
And I think the final thing that we might have missed is just straps, right? Like, how is it strapping to your foot? I love Teva brand because they've got all these different straps and they're all adjustable. So if you have a wider foot or you have a bunion or whatever, you can adjust it. I have some I've had for 10 years because once I got them adjusted and they're on that thicker base, wider base, they have a good arch support and they're all waterproof. So you can either walk or next thing you're hiking through a river. They're just awesome for hiking. That's another really good thing to consider is like, could those straps be adjustable or could those straps anchor you in real well versus just having the one that goes between your big toe and the second toe, which doesn't help keep your foot in place.
Another one that has a level of customization is as far as the fit in the straps is Chaco. So Chaco seems to be a pretty trendy one. If you look at them, they're like these really nice, like bulky flip-flops or I guess sandals. They do have a deep heel cup, but they have like this big black sole, and then they have different straps that go around them and whatnot. And those can take a lot of time, or I shouldn't say a lot of time, but just right out of the box, so you have to take your time to get them fitted correctly. You have to kind of maneuver the different straps and whatnot, but the idea is it's all connected. All the straps are interconnected, and then once you get it situated appropriately on your foot, then you just tighten it down from the top. But when you said, Marsha, that you just kind of got them adjusted to start out, and then went, the Chacos came to mind because they're awesome for that as well.
And I own those too. That's my other pair. That was a great one.
And these are shoes that, or brands that I guess have been vetted by the shoe store that we're affiliated with, that Tom and Marsha are owners at Playmakers. So Playmakers is very knowledgeable in the footwear space. They've gone through and seen many different brands, all the main ones, for flip-flops, for sandals, for running shoes, for all of that. So these aren't like sponsored recommendations or anything like that. It's just, what we've seen. Playmakers carry as someone who really cares about, the quality and what they're offering customers. So those couple would definitely fall into that category. One that is kind of more like your traditional flip-flop, but it fits really well and has a great arch, is called Vionic, Vionic. These were originally designed by podiatrists, so obviously they were doing their best to give you some sort of support and fit from the get-go. Olokai is another one that is not as, I guess, medical as Vionic, but really does have a focus on some sort of arch support, premium materials, and then making sure that their sandals and flip-flops fit well.
One thing with Olokai, though, I'll say, because I own a couple pairs of those as well, is that they do have cute fashion. Even for men, too. They have like a look that's like, if I'm going to a beach resort or a beach weekend, they're great to throw on for nightlife. So they have a better look than the sportier looking ones like Chacos, like we were talking about. They really have an upscale. Some of them have a very upscale look to them. So it's worth it.
Some of them will even have like a leather footbed, and the straps are leather, and not necessarily just like that sport material. And then also what's cool is, I don't know if it's just on the guys ones or if it's on both, but on a lot of the guys flip flops, if you flip it over, it actually has a bottle opener for your beer.
Better have it on mine.
I don't know. You
Now
have to
I'm
check.
upset. Shoot, I used to work for Guinness. Like, let's go. Pop those, or Red Stripe. Red Stripe was the one. Easily pop it off the bottom of our foot. Darn it. That's right. I've seen that. That's very handy.
Olokai is probably our trendiest option, if that's what you care about. And then the last one is called UFOs, OOFOS. And if you're familiar with not affiliated at all, but if you're familiar with the Hoka shoes, they're very similar to Hoka shoes, where they're nice and high cushioned and built up, but then they also have a contoured arch. So these were originally designed for like marathon runners to wear after their long runs and training runs or races and whatnot. You throw those right on, and they're going to absorb a lot of the shock with each step, and it's really more of like a recovery sandal, so to speak. So that would be another one.
Yeah, those are super trendy right now. Everybody asks us if we carry them at the store, Playmakers, and we do. And actually, my surgeon with my knee last week we were talking about that brand for a recovery type sandal, even for me recovering from knee surgery. And he loves the shoe. He has the shoe. He had to show it to me. He got it at our store. It cracks me up. It's like his favorite shoe ever. So
he didn't take it out and show you the insoles in there too?
Oh, they all do. Every doctor has to take their shoe off, put it literally in my face to show me. I'm like, I can see the orange insole from the ground. You do not have to lift it. But listen, I love all the medical community and all their support for the product. I mean, we're just so blessed to have such great people out there supporting us and believing in what we do. So that's fun. But yes, so yeah, he just tried the sport one too. He was just trying that one out.
That's actually my favorite thing that people do, is when they just take their shoe off and hold it in my face. As long as it has an orange insole in it, I love it. So
it's just the smell. I don't know how to fake the smell.
No, I know.
Feet don't smell. Well, you worked at the store. I don't know how you fake the smell of people's feet. Like I don't mind feet. They're not gross to me or anything, but the smell, it's like, oh shoot. It's like, can you offer them a mint? You can't.
It's part of the
gig.
Have
a spray there? Is there like a nice little fresh spray you could offer? Like a little station to like freshen up your feet? Oh, I'm so gonna tell. Oh,
Maybe there's an orange spray coming soon.
Everyone likes the fresh smell of orange. You know what? We're doing it. We're doing an orange spray.
We might do it. I don't want to overpromise. We might do it.
Oh, and remember the chapstick we have? Our orange chapstick? And it's the taste is tangerine or orange. People come to our medical conferences just to say hi to us and put their order in. And then they always go, do you have any more of that chapstick? It's like secretly hidden behind the counter. And Owen offers it to them if they're like a really good.
They'll say, do you still have the orange chapstick? Like, yes.
That's what it is. We'll hit us in the box. If you hit us in the box, we might have some orange chapstick for you too. So, but anyway, this is a great conversation. I was telling Owen just before I came on the podcast, I got a phone call from a customer in Chicago who just tried our sport insole and wanted to call and tell me about it, because I happened to get him one day when he was calling in the office. I do answer the customer hotline, and he was so hyped. And I said, I've got 10 minutes because I'm getting on a call about podcast for flip-flops. And he went on for 5 minutes to ask me what kind of flip-flop and how he walks his dog, how far should he go in Chicago is flip-flops okay? So it was a great prep call for this call, and people are eager to hear this. It's a good conversation to have around what type of flip-flops and what brands, and any other questions, definitely hit us in our chat box for sure.
Absolutely. And if for some reason you do maybe have like a specific injury or ailment, or you're recovering from something, cough Marsha. Marsha's recovering from knee surgery. Maybe just avoiding flip-flops for the time being could be a smart option, and just wearing something more structured, whether that's just like a running shoe or athletic shoe, or just your most comfortable pair of shoes in the closet. And then if you do get caught wearing those flip-flops, or I guess even just if generally your feet are aching, don't forget that stretching is super important. Simply stretching your calves and your feet. Ice your feet if they hurt or they feel swollen, and then doing a nice salt soak also will help. We talked about all those things in the past, but it's so important just to remind our audience that there are a few simple things that you can do, and you'll hopefully experience a world of a difference. But with that said, we appreciate it. We will be back with another episode of Orange Juice, and maybe it will be about a new product launch, aka the orange spray that Marsha and I brainstormed for you guys. So stay tuned. Thanks so much for listening, and happy summer.